Hey guys, my name is Jasmine and today we're going to be making patterns. So before we really get started here, I'm going to tell you what you need. You need a piece of paper, crayons, colored pencils, a Sharpie, a drawing pencil, which is also a graphite pencil, and an eraser. So we're going to talk about patterns first before we really jump into this too. A pattern is basically a repeating shape that has repetition to it. You see one thing in multiple areas. It can be like a checkerboard pattern, if you've ever seen a checkerboard, which are just like different colored squares. That's a really common pattern, but we're not going to do squares today. We're going to deal with circles and spirals because we want to talk about motion in pattern 2. So we're going to get started. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm going to jump in with my colored pencils. I'm going to use a red. I'm going to make multiple circles. They're all going to be connected in some form, some way. It's okay if they aren't perfect, like this little guy right here. But multiple circles. This is sort of like an organic pattern. There's not a lot of like sharp corners to it because of all of the circles, all these circle forms. So there are some of my circles. If you think about it too, it kind of looks like a fish, super up close, like the scales of a fish. Now I'm going to jump in with a different color, and I'm going to go back in some of my circles, and I'm going to make spirals. Just like that. And there's a tiny little circle on the inside. You don't have to close your spirals if you don't want to. That's what I'm doing with mine. There's that one. And do one more in purple. There's a third purple spiral. So, next what I'm going to do, I really want this pattern that I'm making to be colorful. You don't have to make yours colorful if you don't want to. You can use a couple colors, you can use 10 colors, you can do whatever you want color-wise. I'm actually going to use crayons for this next part. So I'm going to continue doing my spirals, but I'm also going to grab 2 colors at once. Let's do orange and green. I'm going to line them up so that they're both going to touch the paper. And I'm going to make a spiral with 2 of them. It closes. It's almost like an old 3D pattern, if you guys have seen like 3D glasses. It's almost like that. Kind of gives that feeling. Do one more. And if you've noticed also when I'm doing my spirals, I'm not blending into my other circles because I don't want my spirals to cross over my red lines. But if you want yours to cross over, that's fine. I just want each of my circles to be separate little pieces. Now, I'm gonna grab my yellow and to kind of break it up to kind of help with this flow here. I'm gonna color, excuse me, I'm gonna color my remaining circles a solid color. do one more yellow. There's that yellow. I'm gonna also make sure I get in between spaces, like right here, and right here, and right here. I'm not gonna color all of them yellow, I'm gonna switch my colors because I want my pattern here to be a little bit more bold and colorful. So there's that. I'm gonna color these spaces, the bare spaces. Let's see. I'm gonna use my blue color pencil. Gonna get those areas colored in. And one more blue area. Now, that's most of my background colored in, and I'm still not too happy with how I've done my spirals here and my line work, so I'm going to add more colors, and I'm going to keep doing the same thing. And just like before, I'm going to keep kind of layering my colors, which means I'm going to make them cross over one another like how my blue and orange are. So I'm going to take my blue again, or darker blue, and let's do pink. I'm going to keep layering them, which you may have heard the word layering before when you're like talking about your clothing. If it's cold outside, you might wear multiple layers of clothing, so you might have on like an undershirt, an actual shirt, a sweater, a coat. Those are all layers. So just like with your clothes, we're going to layer our colors on our paper here. Layering my pink and blue over the colors that I've already done. I'm going to keep playing with this until I like how much space I have filled in with my patterns here. And how everything flows and has a sort of swirly motion to it. It's almost like water, maybe like the ocean, or like a lake. And everything's sort of moving, even though it's actually still. I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to do a couple of tiny spirals in the solid colors that I've done. Just super tiny, like that. They're not that big. They're not going to take over the entire solid space here, but they're going to add to that motion that we have going on with our more white spaces. Some wavy lines. You can do whatever kind of movement you want for your solid spaces, any sort of pattern that you might want to draw, any line work. the yellow I have spirals, and in the blue I have these wavy lines. There we go. This is my organic pattern. You might want to turn your paper, you might like it a different way. I started out one way, I might like it this way, or maybe this way. You can do however you want. But that is our overlapping pattern. I hope you guys had fun. You guys can make more of these in different colors using different sort of shapes and motions for your line work. And I hope you guys do just that. But once again, we learned about pattern, which are repeating shapes, repeating line work like how we did here, and we learned about layering, which is like one color on top of another, on top of another, like how you layer your clothes when it's cold outside. But again, I hope you guys go make more of these using whatever you have learned here, more colors, more patterns, and I hope you guys do just that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.